Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Secret to Scaling Consistent Client Experiences Better Workflow session. Just a couple of reminders before our session starts. Please use the chat box to chat with each other, and you can submit your questions via the polls box on your Pathable app. So I'd like to introduce today's presenters, Louis Retief and Ron Gorodetsky. Hi, guys. Louis is an entrepreneur who loves personal finance, financial advice, and financial technology. He founded Hubli with a mission to build better enablement technologies and tools to make it easier for financial advisors to scale their services and processes. Prior to founding Hubli, Louis built technology and worked as a project manager at Wealthsimple. Ron is the co-founder of Hubli. He lives in high-tech financial planning operations and works hand in hand with financial advisors every day to understand their challenges and ensure that they have the right workflows and processes in place to set themselves up for scale. So welcome, guys. Thanks. I'll let you take it from here.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Haley. Really appreciate the introduction. Just a reminder for everyone to please use the polls. We're going to have about 7 minutes at the end for questions, so lots of time to get through them. So just keep posting them throughout the session when you think of them, and so that we can answer those at the end for you. As Haley mentioned, I'm the CEO of Hubli and co-founder, and we've built a workflow solution for financial advisors that works with existing CRMs to make it easier for you to scale your services and processes. Really excited to go through this presentation with you guys today and to answer some of your workflow challenges. Before we dive into things, it'd be great if everyone can pop open the Hubli booth and just answer 2 quick questions for us that we've posted on the booth. This will help us get a quick understanding of the workflow challenges that everyone faces at the moment, and we'll be able to answer a lot of questions with that information. So if you can just quickly follow the link right at the bottom here, t.ly/h2ss, that will open up the Hubli booth, and you can just scroll down to the bottom, or you can access our booth through the exhibitor's agenda at the top of the platform. We're just going to take a quick minute and have everyone do that. Awesome. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time. It's the only way we could do engagement in this new virtual world without having to do a quick show of hands, so apologize for that. But if anyone hasn't had a time to do it yet, feel free to do it at any time throughout the presentation. So today, as mentioned in the seminar, we're going to be covering 3 common workflow challenges that we found many advisors experience. The first challenge we commonly find is that advisors have challenge with their client onboarding workflows. And the way we think about it is, as advisors, you need to create consistency around how you onboard a client and to make sure that every client has an amazing onboarding experience. But making sure that that's really tailored to each client's needs is the difficult part. And we're going to touch on some strategies on how you can work through that in a little bit here. The second common challenge that we find is your ongoing reviews for your clients. Once a client is onboarded, that first year is really easy where you provide a lot of value to them. But when it comes to longer term, where you're working with a client over a decade or more, it becomes really difficult to think about what are those engagements I want to structure with my client, and how do I want to make sure that nothing falls through the cracks over such a long-term relationship. And we're going to talk about some ways that you guys can structure your reviews to make sure that you're consistently engaging your clients. And lastly, we're going to talk about client-specific projects. These are those bigger projects that really take a longer time to complete for a client. This is when you need to collaborate with either team members, external providers, and these take a lot of time, and there's normally multi-steps to them. So we're going to talk about how you can maybe break some of those up to more easily track the progress that's being made, and that you can quickly work towards completing them to make sure you're working on your client's financial plan. The reason we found a lot of these workflow challenges are complicated is because financial planning is such a unique process. It's really tailored to every client's needs, and all of you service specific client niches, and it's really difficult to actually create repeatability and consistency throughout these workflows in order to meet your client's needs. However, as we all know, the industry is moving towards a way where advisors need to be more efficient, and you need to provide a higher touch service to your clients in order to remain competitive and to meet the growing needs and expectations of your clients. And so you might be wondering, how do workflows come in and how can they help with this overarching challenge in the industry? And so I'm going to pass it over to Ron, who's going to run you guys through a couple quick activities to give you insights on how you can start creating some efficiencies on some of those key workflow challenge areas that I just discussed.
Awesome. Thank you, Louis. Great introduction. And also thank you to everyone for filling out the polls. Those worked surprisingly well. I still miss the good old show of hands, but it was great to see how everyone breaks down between the main challenges and then also the tools that you currently use to manage your workflows. Needless to say, we found that a lot of advisors really struggle with the same three areas. And the distribution that we're seeing on here is actually 44% between managing the check-ins, preparations, and follow-up items, 33% between the specific client projects, and 11% between the new client onboarding, and 11% between operations, compliance, billing, etc. Really interesting, really kind of right down the middle three ways there. And in terms of the technology being used, 64% of the people in this call rely on Redtail to manage their workflows, 9% on Excel, and 27% use other. So that was really interesting to see. My job at Hubli is actually very, very fun. I work with all of our advisors every single day to make sure that their workflows are supporting their business and they have the right systems in place to really manage the different elements of these challenges that they face. I focus on helping them systematically break down these processes, think through them while understanding the goals of where they're trying to grow their business and also where they're trying to grow their personal life too. If they want to spend more time with family, if they want to grow a full team of support staff and additional advisors. So we really know what that end goal is, and we work with that in mind. And it's important that you start there as well. As Louis mentioned, we're going to focus on these three main areas, the three main areas of concern that we see on here as well. And I'm going to specifically talk about strategies to think through each area and break it down into bite-sized stages that will help you not only plan and document your steps for delivering this service, but it's also going to help you delegate to team members and most importantly, see where every client is at. Everything I'm going to go through today is actually available in a free resource that we're giving away. It was something we developed for our clients, but we see that this need is industry-wide. So we're excited for you to go ahead there, download it after this call, and you'll see it as a simplified version of what we go through today. So we're going to start off with designing a better client onboarding experience. And where that really starts, where we like to work with our advisors when we start on this, is thinking about what is that first stage? What does a top of funnel look like? Does a client come in through a referral? Do they come in through an inbound channel? And really, what's that starting point that you want to see a list of all of your prospects in? For this example, we're going to call it new client one, lead and referrals. Then we take it from there to think about where do we want to move the client to after that? What is the goal after that first stage? Typically, that's the initial consultation, where you're going to have your preparation steps, you're going to have that initial discussion, and then your follow-up items. And in doing so, we also then think through the full 30, 60, 90-day experience for new clients, thinking about what are all of these stages that are important for you to be able to track, for you to be able to document task lists, and see where every single client is at. This part only takes minutes. And really, if you want to get started, open up an Excel spreadsheet and do the same thing that you see in front of you here, or go online after this call and download the workbook so you just don't have to make it look nice. It looks nice already. But this is where you think through these different stages. And just by laying it out this way, you're able to really break apart this otherwise complex process where you aren't able to see the progress that a client is making. You're not able to see what needs your attention today into multiple steps that you can then document individual small task lists for, just the key things that you want to remember. We always recommend keeping this simple and concise and not over documenting every single stage. The most important question that you want to ask yourself is, looking back on something, what do you often ask yourself, did I do this? That's what you want to actually go ahead and document here as your task list broken down by every single stage or workflow. This also allows you to assign the different team members in your practice for those of you that are growing or planning to grow in the future. And lastly, and importantly, it lets you have a clear way to track where every single client is at. Who are all the leads? What stage are they at? You can create your own definitions. In here we call it assigned, in progress, requires review, and complete. You can see this waterfall happening from left to right, where you have clients moving from new client 1 to new client 2 to new client 3, 4, and so on. And this really is important to you to be able to anticipate bottlenecks, and as another advisor called it yesterday, famines. Those are two different elements that are both equally important because they do impact the quality of advice that you deliver. You don't need super advanced tools. The most important thing that you need is a tool that gives you flexibility. That's why for those that don't use Hubli, we actually have this Excel planner that we use and then we put together, because it really could be that simple. But we built Hubli to basically eliminate one really key element, and that's data reentry, data rekeying, constantly recreating and cleaning up your task lists. And that's why we actually made it very visual. It flows like a board from left to right, and it allows you to document the task lists that you need to accomplish for every single stage. Those tasks get assigned to the clients as you add them in. And then it also allows you to customize those task lists on a client-by-client basis. You can accomplish the same thing, and a good starting point is in Excel. And really, by using the key pointers that I mentioned before, breaking it apart into smaller task lists with stages that help you communicate where every client is at, and revisiting those task lists after you actually work through them with a client to improve upon them, you're going to find that your business is already going to be in a better place when it comes to onboarding workflows and really delivering a consistent experience to every single client. If you have any questions about this part, please do go into the polls, as Louis mentioned, and you can begin asking the questions here that we're going to get to at the end. I'm going to also show you the same strategies, but we're going to go through them a little bit quicker for managing these ongoing reviews, which it sounds like a very large number of the audience actually has a lot of challenges with, about 40%. And then I'm also going to talk about the client-specific projects, which is where I have the most fun working with advisors on an ongoing basis. When it comes to ongoing reviews, it's actually fairly simple. We also start out at that level of, where do clients begin? Where do you want to begin adding your clients into? And for advisors who reach out 3 months after a meeting, 5 months after a meeting, 11 months after a meeting to schedule that next check-in, that's often your meeting scheduling workflow. For those of us who schedule that meeting ahead of time, while the client's still sitting in front of you at the current meeting, then maybe that's going to be your preparation workflow. But it's important to really have a starting point that works for your firm. And likewise, you can document the other two stages that we typically like to use. You have your preparation, where you have steps such as data collection and updating, reviewing last action items, following up with the client, all those fun things. And then you have your day off prep, which are often those tasks that you need to remember to do within 24 hours of a meeting to update those time-sensitive areas that you're going to be reviewing. And then you have your follow-up workflow. And really, we recommend keeping that workflow simple. Have a task for meeting completion so you can actually write down when the meeting happened. Have a task reminding you to save your meeting notes into your CRM, or if you're using Hubli, you can also have a template for those meeting notes right there as well, and we'll actually save it into your CRM for you. And then basically, you'll be able to keep the rest of that task list flexible so that you can add in the tasks that client needs as action items and follow-up items. But by having these laid out in 3 or 4 workflows, instead of just one big one, you can see, and again, anticipate the busier times of the month. You can anticipate bottlenecks And you can also plan for your own capacity and answer the most important question, or I guess two questions. One is, what am I forgetting? And two, what does my week, month, quarter look like? And that's not going to happen overnight. That's going to happen by starting here, building those task lists, beginning to add and document which clients are where. And then you're going to wake up one day and you're going to see that you can flip through 3 different dashboards in your business and have a really solid understanding of where your business is at. And you're just going to feel lighter and able to scale. And that's the last element, which are those project-specific workflows. Those can be intimidating to think of all at once. That's why we actually work with our advisors by checking in every quarter and helping you think ahead of what's coming up. That life and disability insurance review, estate planning, tax season, that's all actually really exciting for us. We know that a lot of advisors dread it, but that's really exciting for us because that means that we get to check in with you, see what's coming up, and again, help you break down these workflows into stages that make sense for your business. Our goal is to have you leave these meetings, and for yourself, you set the time aside yourself, your goal should be the same, that you leave this time where you're working on your business so that you're going to be spending less time working in your business going forward, and you're going to have more time on your hands to actually work with the clients and have a really quick place to throw in the additional action items, the additional steps, and the additional to-dos that you need to remember to get done on a client-by-client basis. Because as Louis did mention, it is complex. You're managing a lot of moving parts, and most importantly, you need the ability to be flexible and to personalize these to the needs of every single one of your clients. I'm going to pass it back to Louis now, who is going to recap and open up the floor for questions.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ron. Really appreciate you going through all those details with everyone. Before we get to the summary items, I just want to say that we found the most important thing with workflows is to just get started. That you don't necessarily need a solution like Hubli, but just start somewhere and start documenting some of those important steps in your process to make sure that you guys can start planning out how nothing should fall through the cracks while you continue to grow your firm. And so in summary, the value of workflows and starting to document and plan those out for the long term is it's going to improve team collaboration. It's going to make sure that everyone on your team knows what they're responsible for and accountable for delivering on an ongoing basis. And most importantly, we found is that well-structured workflows are going to make it really easy to onboard new team members and to get them up to speed really fast. The second thing it'll do is it will create efficiencies. And efficiencies are important because it'll allow you to manage more clients, which is going to increase it'll allow you to service more clients as you continue to grow. The third thing it'll do is it'll help you ensure that nothing falls through the cracks. We know how unique the financial planning process is, and with better workflows, you'll be able to have a record of everything you've done for clients and all the things you plan to do for them. This is not only important to retain your clients long-term, but it's also really important for compliance purposes. And when you have documented workflows you take clients through, those things become really easy. And I think the thing that we care the most about and the thing that we focus on is it'll create consistency in how you service your clients and ensure that all of your clients have an absolutely amazing experience when they work with your firms. And so something as boring as what workflow management seems to be has a massive impact on how you can actually grow and scale your advisory firm. If you guys are interested to learn more, I know we kept it nice and short there and high level about how to get started with workflows, but it's really simple. Some ways you can engage with us and Hubli moving forward is you can request, go to our booth again, and there are 3 links that you can access. They're in big green bubbles right there. Is you can first off request a free product demo if you're interested to learn more about how we've helped dozens of advisory firms create more structure in their firms and set them up for additional scale and growth. You can access our free planning resource, which I've also linked in the chat. It's under the giveaway link right here. Or if you're not interested in either of those, you can also schedule a one-on-one strategy call with me, where I'll walk through your challenges with you and strategize with you on how we can actually move forward and help you with workflow management. Or if you're just interested to learn more about how we got started with Hubli and why we're so passionate about advisor workflows, feel free to schedule a call as well. Thank you everyone for listening. I'm going to open it up to questions right now. So if you can just take a couple minutes, list your questions either in the chat or the poll, whichever is easier for you, and we'll run through those questions. Thank you so much for listening today. I'm going to keep the screen up if you want to access these resources.
Awesome. Thank you, Louis. And I already see some questions coming in online, so I'm just going to read these out to you, and hopefully you can answer them. So the first question that we have here doesn't tell me who's asking, so I'm sorry I can't attribute it to you. But somebody's asking, how involved are we in consulting regarding the development of workflows? And specifically, they use Redtail CRM now.
Awesome. So we integrate directly with Redtail to get the easy question out of the way. And so we make sure that a lot of your client data from Redtail is passed over to Hubli so that you never have to rekey client data into yet another system. Regarding the consulting work we do, we've developed an onboarding process when we work with our firms, and we take you through a workflow design process that uses a lot of the similar methodologies and activities that Ron taught. And so we work hand in hand with our firms to actually help design out your workflows and to show you how you can actually start implementing them. And so it's a hands-on consultative approach, but there's also a lot of DIY in there where you need to be engaged in actually building out your workflows.
Awesome. Thank you, Louis. You actually touched on another question here, which I'm just going to elaborate on. We had a couple of questions asking about our integrations. How do we integrate with Redtail CRM, with Wealthbox CRM, as well as we'll answer that one first. So how we integrate there, and I'm just going to answer that one really quickly. We work with Wealthbox and we work with Redtail CRM, and our goal is to help you get up and running within 30 seconds of basically setting up your Hubli account. And how we do that is we have a two-way sync for all the client fields that you need when really working through your workflows and your tasks while servicing your client. Hubli is not a CRM. We're not in the game of integrating with all the different software that you use. What we care about is working with CRMs like Redtail and like Wealthbox that do a great job of accumulating a golden egg of client data that we can then help you make actionable. So really helping you make sure that you're not missing opportunities and things aren't slipping through the cracks, both big milestones on the client side, as well as big review opportunities on your operational side. Juncture, I just saw that question come in. We have a roadmap of CRMs that we would love to work with. Juncture is one of them. I can't make a promise on the date that we're going to announce that integration, but that is definitely on our roadmap for next year.
Ron, there's one question you missed there that I think is very important is, can we talk about cost and what type of practices are best fit for us? So the type of firms that we love working with at Hubli is we primarily work with financial advisory firms that are providing comprehensive financial planning to their clients, believe in being the quarterback of their clients' finances and really holistically managing all those complicated service pieces. And lastly, they're really interested to grow. They're looking for a way to be more efficient. They love technology, and they're working towards building a very structured and streamlined advisory practice. And so the type of firms we've seen have the most success with Hubli are one, your advisory firms that are looking to run a really simple, streamlined lifestyle business where they can really be efficient. They can work one day less a week, and they can make sure that they can scale themselves as much as possible. The second type of firm that we found a lot of value in Hubli is that they are looking to basically grow their team aggressively. They're looking to add on more advisors, more staff members as fast as possible to really meet their ongoing demand with new clients coming in. We found that Hubli creates a lot of structure and makes it easy to onboard and train new advisors and to get them up and running and to serve your clients in a consistent fashion. Regarding pricing, I'm not going to dive into that right now, but all of our pricing is publicly listed on our website. So if you just go to myhubli.com, you can find our pricing in the About page there.
And just in terms of pricing, if you're a solo firm, you have no staff, you can look at the basic tier. If you're a firm with one or more advisors, one or more support staff, then you're probably looking at the pro tier. We don't charge per support staff, so up to 2 support staff are free. And you can see the pricing in there. We give a discount for full year subscriptions, and also our implementation fee is one time. As Louis mentioned, we work hands-on with every firm to help you think through your existing processes. And we do that work for you to build it out in Hubli so that when you get started, everything's 80% there. From there on out, we work with you to train you how to use the product, to really shore things up. And then after the training is done, we check in with you quarterly. That's our promise to you, is that we want to grow with you, and we succeed when you succeed. So we're not like any other technology firm where we give you the product and we say, now you're on the way. For us, it's more important that we actually help support you as you go through these new challenges. And that also allows us to share the best practices that we learn from the entire industry with you on an ongoing basis. We have these kind of calls like the one that you're in today, but tailored to your own goals and one-on-one with us. Now, in terms of the other question that we had here with integrations with other apps like Calendly and other services that you use. Louis, can you talk to that for a little bit, how we integrate and we make it easy to automate some of those processes that happen elsewhere?
Yeah, I'd love to. So we have an integration with Zapier. Zapier is an amazing tool that integrates into multiple pieces of software. And so the automations that we can create really depend on the triggers that are important to your business and the workflows you're trying to create. And so we've really worked with numerous advisory firms with several of those common challenges, such as if a lead comes through your website, you want to automatically put them into a workflow and create actions like that. We've helped tons of advisory firms create some efficiencies around that through our Zapier integration.
The most common one that we actually do is the one that Louis mentioned, where leads come in, they schedule a call right through the website or through a link following up on that email that you send out or you have automated. And then as soon as that happens, that client appears in the right workflow in your hub to start preparing for the meeting. And we do the exact same thing for ongoing client check-ins, that if you are a firm that schedules your check-ins basically a month in advance, then and you use an automated link like Schedule Once or Calendly, then Hubli can again monitor when a client schedules in a call and then move them into the preparation workflow to help you stay on top of it all.
I think there's one question we haven't answered there, Ron, is regarding Salesforce integration. We currently do not integrate with Salesforce, but we obviously know that Salesforce is one of the biggest CRMs in the advisory space, and that's something we're working towards. We're just currently focused on our Redtail and Wealthbox integrations. Hubli also does work without a CRM integration, and so if you're interested to learn more about that, please contact us as well.
I know Louis reviewed all the links. I think the one that's probably the easiest to follow is the Calendly one. That'll book a call directly in our schedule. We would love to talk with you one-on-one and really talk about what your challenges are, what you're trying to accomplish with your firm, and really figure out if Hubli is the right fit for you. And whether it is or it's not, we can always give you the free material that we also discussed today to help you get you on your way and also use some time over the upcoming slower season, hopefully over the holidays, to begin setting yourselves up for success come 2021.
I know Haley's probably going to give us, sorry, Rod. I know Haley's going to probably give us the 2-minute reminder here pretty soon on when we need to hop off and finish this call. So I just want to quickly recap the ways that you can engage with us. One is schedule a free product demo to learn more about how Hubli works. You can just find that link at our booth. Once again, access the free planning resource from the chat in order to learn some of those strategies we've discussed today. Or lastly, schedule that free one-on-one strategy call with me. We're also doing the exhibitor booth hours right after this, so please feel free to visit us if we didn't get to your questions. We'd love to chat. There's about 2 hours open to exhibitor boothing after this, so Ron and I will both be there and we'd love to chat to you.
Thank you so much, guys. And actually, you covered it for me. I was just going to do a reminder. We've dedicated 2 hours for all of you guys to spend with these amazing vendors. So take advantage. Thank you guys so much for being a part of this conference, and have a great day.